Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the South Node inconjunct Chiron in a natal chart. Now, first off, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between activities associated with what you're naturally proficient in, which is the South Node, and helping and healing others, which is Chiron. Now, one or the other may be overemphasized. The key is to find the balance and the equilibrium between the two. So what could be happening with this aspect is that you may be dominated so much by doing things that you're naturally good at, that you're naturally proficient in, to the expense and exclusion of helping and healing others, which is Chiron, or it could be the other way around, where you may be dominated by helping and healing others to the point where you're oblivious to doing the things that you're naturally proficient in, which is the South Node. So the key is to find the balance, the harmony, and the equilibrium with this energy, because you could have a lot of vacillation and fluctuation with inconjunct aspects in astrology. Now, let's say, for example, if Chiron is in Aries, now you may help and heal others by helping them simply with, matters. It could be with identity or finding one's place in the world. It could be issues with aggression, assertiveness, forcefulness. There may have been problems one may have endured with confrontation or some kind of battle, whether it was a verbal or physical related one. Now, another thing too is that South Node inconjunct Chiron in a natal chart may also manifest in an imbalance, which is the inconjunct aspect between matters connected with those prominent in one's past, which is the South Node, and helpers and healers, which is Chiron. You may be dominated by one or the other. So it could be where matters that are activities connected with people that were prominent in your past, which is the South Node, may monopolize and dominate your time and energy at times to the expense and exclusion of activities with helpers and healers, which is Chiron, or it could be the other way around. There may be times when activities and matters associated with helpers and healers, which is Chiron, may monopolize and dominate your time to the expense and exclusion of matters and activities associated with those prominent in your past. So you got it's about, again, finding the balance, the harmony, and the equilibrium with this aspect, because again, you could have a lot of vacillation, fluctuation, and distortion with inconjunct aspects in astrology. Now, let's say, for example, if you have the South Node in Capricorn, people, one or more of those people prominent in your past may actually be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, people that are, very, serious, structured, disciplined, consistent, methodical, premeditated. It might be those that have a lot of business acumen, those that are prudent, cautious, and ambitious as well. People that are constantly striving to attain greater social status and stature in life. Now, another thing about this aspect is that the past, which is the South Node, may be a period of tremendous ease or difficulty in terms of dealing with emotional and physical related wounds, which is Chiron. So there may have been times where maybe you might have had tremendous ease in dealing with emotional and physical related wounds, and other times it might have been, a tremendous amount of difficulty and arduous task just trying to deal with those matters. So if you have, let's say, if Chiron is in Scorpio, as an example, there may have been some emotional related wounds. It could be, dealing with, some kind of crime, or it could be some kind of jealousy or manipulation. Dealing with, it might have been matters, with insurance related issue, or, dealing with, things that were, maybe there was just lack of, feeling some kind of lack of power and control in one's life. Physical related wounds may have been tied in, with the colon, the prostate, the bladder, the urinary tract, or reproductive system. Now, also, too, there may be tremendous ease or difficulty incorporating healing, which is Chiron, with what you're naturally proficient in, which is the South Node. Now, if you have, let's say, the South Node, in Aquarius as an example, things you're naturally proficient in, maybe tied in. It could be with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, humanitarian endeavors, aviation. It may be doing something with altruism or doing something that involves, groups, clubs, organizations, things that are for the collective good, of others. Now, another thing, too, is that helpers and healers, which is Chiron, may either be extremely favorable and beneficial or detrimental to your natural built-in abilities, which is the South Node. And it doesn't mean, when I say detrimental, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be exceptionally harmful, but they just at times may be of no help whatsoever or be oblivious, to things that you're good, natural built-in abilities, and if there's any development, connected with them, as far as that would go, or the encouragement of that and of those natural built-in abilities. Now, if the South Node is in Taurus, as an example, there may be some natural built-in abilities connected with just may simply be generating income or, accumulating possessions, resources. It could be doing something with geology, carpet laying, banking, finance, art, or music, as some examples. Now, also, too, another way this aspect may manifest, it could be where the first half of one's life, which is the South Node, may be a time where you have tremendous or very little issues dealing with the deepest wound, which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron, say, is in Sagittarius, as an example, that deepest wound, and may be tied in with higher education or college learning or expanding horizons. Maybe it has to do with being, lack of optimism or being over-optimistic in some matters, or some issue with publishing or advertising, as some example. It could be one's philosophy or belief system. Now, also, too, people that may play an integral role in your past may either be exceptionally beneficial or no help whatsoever in terms of dealing with issues of depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron is in Gemini, as an example, there may be issues connected with depleted self-worth that may be tied in with one's cerebral or intellectual ability. There may be some issues, with assimilating or disseminating information, or versatility or dexterity, as some examples. Another way that this aspect may be expressed is that, again, the diminished self-worth and the suffering one may endure, which is Chiron, may be issues one has either enormous ease or difficulty leaving behind, which is the South Node. Now, let's say, if Chiron is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, there may be issues with diminished self-worth and suffering. May be tied in with one's home and family life or ancestry. Maybe there's some, issues, with being, expressing dedication or devotion, or the expression of unconditional love, that one may have had some issues with, that may be tied in with, diminished self-worth and suffering. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.